welcome or welcome back. Today I will be showing you this sketchbook that I finished very recently. This is my Limelight sketchbook and I started this September of 2020 and then forgot about it for almost a year before I went back to it on the start of this year. So it's gonna be a big time jump, but I will tell you which ones are more recent. So the first pages of my sketchbook are always just my swatches, and this really helps me to get over the fear of starting a new sketchbook. This one is my very first painting that I did with my whole Mia gouache set, and you can really tell that I wasn't that comfortable with gouache yet. I think this still just looks like a ballpoint pen sketch with some gouache strokes on top, but this next one, this whole spread was for my drawing portraits tutorial video, and this one on the right I painted right after I did that video. This one on the left was painted a whole lot of months after that, so I don't know if you guys can see the difference in my painting styles. I can really tell which one is more recent. I think with my older paintings I was drawn more to high contrast. For my most recent ones I like to play around more with different shifts in tones rather than in values. These next set of sketches were all done in 10 seconds. I did a timer for myself because I wanted to practice for my 10 seconds, 1 minute and 10 minute drawings video, and I never really got to fit to uploading that video because I just didn't like what I was putting out. But what's really interesting is I like my 10-second sketches more than my 10-minute sketches. There's a lot of them here. Part of the big reasons why the 10-minute sketch didn't work as much is because I was so used to sketching really fast that I sort of didn't know what to do with that much time in my hands. But you do see a few more tries that I did for that video. This one on the left is one of my very recent sketches. I just really like the shape that she was making, and I like how she's fitting on the page. This one on the right is actually one of my really old gouache paintings, but I really like it. It sort of looks like something I could have done very recently. I really like the colors on it, and I also like the shape that she's making. This one on the left is actually a recent sketch, I just didn't finish it. These next set of sketches is sort of like the 10-second sketches, except I think I had 20 seconds to finish them. I think this was sort of a gesture drawing exercise, but I don't know how successful I was in that. But I think I was successful in making my line works look looser and less tense, and maybe it's because I was the one who drew them, but I could still see the poses that I made even though it's very fast, so I really like them in that way, and these are more of those. This one on the right I think I just did for myself, but I finished it off with a lot of highlighters, some colored pencils, and my brush pen on top. These are just some other highlighter sketches that I never finished, and some more 20-second exercises. This one is very recent. This is my first sketch that I did with my BLACKWING pencils, which some of you guys might know that I just unboxed very recently. This one on the right is one of my only Posca pen artworks, and I never finished the one that I did. I sort of just didn't really like my Posca pens that much because I just don't think they're for me. I ended up selling my Posca pens shortly after this one. These are some highlighter and my gel pen sketches. These ones were inspired by GOUACHE, who is one of my idols. It doesn't really look anything like her sketches, but it was really fun. I just really love sketching with my highlighters. This one is for a video that I actually posted. This is one of my favorite movie scenes ever. It's the descent into the tunnels from the movie Sicario. I actually think it looks better on camera than in person, and I also think that the painting in itself looks better than the actual painting video. This is another try at my Posca pens, but I didn't finish this one as well. These are just some quick portrait studies. The one on the left I did about 2 years ago. This one on top I did yesterday. This spread I think is really cute. I found this photo on Pinterest and I really wanted to draw them each on a page. I did these with my pastel colored pencils with my brush pen on top. I really think that I could have used a heavier hand with my brush pen. I just think overall this is too light of a drawing, but I still do think that it's adorable. These are some more unfinished sketches. This one on the left is very new. I think I did this a week ago. I was trying to experiment with my blue and peach highlighter, trying to see how they work together, and I really like it. I sort of just did this yellow background to emphasize the negative space of her. These ones on the right are just some foot studies, and again with my markers and my red ballpoint pens. And this is just another sketch that I never finished. This one I actually used kids watercolors, you know, those things that are really hard. I really enjoyed painting this actually, but it's not really a good indication of how well those watercolors are because this is all just basically one layer with a lot of ink work on top. But I really like it, and that was one of my very first videos, I think. These sketches I did with once again my brush pen, but these highlighters were new. I sort of did an art haul where I got a bunch of highlighters and washi tape, and you will see me try to use those washi tapes later on. But this spread I think I really like, especially this one on the right where I used very bright pink as a liner, and I think it worked well, which I didn't expect it to. And then these are all for my video, which I titled, I think something like Practicing Anatomy with Reference Photos, which now I can tell that this is more construction. A comment sort of pointed it out, but this is really how I learned me quote-unquote anatomy. I actually think that video is really informative if you guys want to see how I draw my poses. This one is new. I used soft pastels, but I didn't seal it, so it made a mess everywhere. But these next few sketches are all a part of that same anatomy video, and I did them all with my ball pens and my highlighters again. This one on the left actually looks like it would belong in an anatomy video, but this is actually very new. I did this when I was taking a Domestika course on Leonardo da Vinci's drawing methods, and this is just a quick study of one of his sketches. Then this is also part of my anatomy video. This one is my first full Copic pen drawing, and I was really just trying to get a feel for how it would feel to draw with them because I'm really not used to drawing with markers. This next one is also with my Copic pens. I really love the brush nib on them, and I love them for drawing clothes. I just don't like how I did the shadow on this one. This one I think is one of my favorite drawings in this whole sketchbook. This was done with my Copic markers and also with my Touch 10 markers. This was actually on video where I did my first AMA, but I really love the textures that I got for her clothes and especially her bag, and I also really like that cat. I think it's really cute. And then once again I used my brush pen on top of everything, but this is my whole attempt at trying to do washi tape art. I severely underestimated the X-Acto knife. I cut myself a lot during making these, but I really liked the prints in those washi tapes, and especially the one on the left. It just reminded me so much of the cloth that's used for Filipiniana gown, so I did this. This spread is actually a comparison video of my Touch 10 markers and my Copic markers, and it's really subjective, but I really like the results that I got from the Touch 10 markers. It could be just the color selection that I had on me, but I actually like the rough looking unblended textures that I could get from them. But I also am just so in love with the brush nib on the Copic chows. These are all hand construction practice that I did in preparation for my hand tutorial video. And then this one is so cute. This is my cat art practice. I really think I need to learn more about cat anatomy or just animals in general because I really didn't know what to do with their bodies. But I really enjoyed sketching these. This one on the right are really quick sketches of mushrooms. I sort of stumbled over the mycology subreddit once, and I ended up really liking the look of mushrooms, so these were done really quick. I just used my peach and blue highlighters and used my G-Tech pen on top of that. These I actually filmed for my hand tutorial video, but I didn't like how long it was taking for me to blend with pencils, so I redid the video, and this time I used my highlighters with my brush pens, and I actually like the look of this more than the colored pencils, and this one is also faster, so I didn't have to distract so much from the topic and I could just really quickly do the shading. And then there's a few more of these hand sketches here. This spread is of street style pictures that I saw on Pinterest, and these were all done with my Sakura Koi watercolors and with my brush pen on top. This one is actually for a Patreon video. This was me walking through my sketching process and how I transfer it to my watercolor paper for my paintings. So it's really fun if you guys want to support me there. I do have a couple of videos done already for Patreon too. These are for a live stream, my very first one, which I just failed. This one on the right and this next one, I think they worked okay. I just really could have done better with all of these sketches. I was just so scared of my first live stream that this happened, but it was really fun. This one is a quick hair study, and I used my ballpoint pen to just sketch out the shapes, but I then used a pencil to do the soft waves on her. This one on the right is for a video. This is a scene from The Theory of Everything, and I'm looking at it now and it kind of looks really flat. The one on the left I actually like better, which is like a 5-minute sketch of mushrooms, so that's really sad, but I really do like the lighting for the painting. This whole spread was just my pen sketches. I painted over the one on the right with my gouache, and that's a scene from Sharp Objects. But I really also like the pen sketches that I did on the left too. This is another quick highlighter sketch, and this next one is also just a ballpoint pen sketch that I never finished. This sketch is something that I did for my second live stream, which I think just went so much better than the first one. It could be because I'm more comfortable now that it's my second live stream, or it could also just be because I was using my highlighters. I'm really just in my zone when I use them. This spread I think is also one of my favorites. I still used my pastel colored pencils, but this time I'm more heavy with my brush pen work on top. So this is what I meant when I said that I could have gone with a darker brush pen work for my last spread like this, because just those very dark blacks and very sharp brush strokes complement the soft look of the pastel colored pencils really well. These are a few figure drawing exercises. And this one is a city scene that I never finished. These are all sketches that I did with my BLACKWING pencil. And these are all just plant things too. I was also trying to teach myself to get used to drawing plants more and just things that aren't people. This one is one of my very recent Copic marker sketch, and I really love that brush nib. And so I used it to just get these soft, flowy lines with them. And I complemented it with my brush pen on top. This is another study of Leonardo da Vinci's sketches for the Domestika course that I'm taking. But this one on the right is so interesting. They had this exercise where you could just draw a sphere, and it's something that seems so simple, but it was actually just giving me such a hard time. Exercise is just so deceptively hard, especially when you're not used to shading something that's this perfect of a shape. These ones are sketches that I did with my red pens. The one on the right that I just went over with some colorful highlighters and also with my brush pen. I really like how his hand is really close to the camera on this one, so I really wanted to capture that. these sketches are from the same art course. The one above is a study of the facial proportions by Leonardo da Vinci, and this one at the bottom is applying those proportions by also studying one of his sketches, and I think this one is from one of his practice sketches for The Last Supper. And then this spread is my final spread of the whole sketchbook. Some of these are unfinished, but I also think that in the future I will be going back to this one on the right because I just like it so much, and maybe doing a painting over my sketch video for that maybe sometime in the future. But that is it for this sketchbook tour. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much to my patrons. You guys are the absolute best, and I will be seeing you guys again on my next one. Bye.